Yes, the axis of curve. Okay. So let's look at a very basic sine graph first. Okay, y equals to sine x. I believe by now all of you know the shape of it. What is the period?
360.
360.
Radian.
Okay, so the period will be 360, so this will be 180 degrees. Okay, and then after that, this will be 90 and 270 degrees. Okay, since in this case we're looking at a graph of y equals to sine x, we are also aware by now that the maximum will be at 1, minimum will be at negative 1. Okay, now what if I have a graph, for example, y equals to a sine x, a sine bx plus c. Okay, just in a very generic form. Okay, because we know that the different placement of the different constants will affect how the graph will turn out to be like. Okay, so we know that the a, what does it affect? Amplitude, right? And then the b, what does it affect? The period. And the c will affect the axis of curve, okay, the shiftment of the curve. Okay. Okay, so in this case, if I have an amplitude of A, right, then that means that the amplitude over here, the maximum itself, okay, it would have been an A, right? But if there is a shiftement of maybe upwards or downwards, right, okay, then it will change accordingly. So let me maybe do another one. Let's just maybe do one example of y equals to 4 sine 3 sine 2x plus 1. Okay, let's do a graph of y equals to 3 sine 2x plus 1. Okay, so as I mentioned, we always need to find the maximum, minimum amplitude, period, and axis of curve. We can definitely read off what is the amplitude first. Amplitude, we know that it is 3. Okay, and then the maximum. What would the maximum be? 4, because 3 plus 1, right? And then the minimum, that will be negative 2, because the minimum originally will be a negative 3, but plus 1 upwards, so negative 2. Okay, then after that we need to know what is the period. The period, what would that be? 360 divided by 2. Okay, and that will be 180 degrees. And then lastly, your axis of curve at y equals to 1. Okay, yes, the line y equals to 1. Because originally your axis of curve is at y equals to 0. So it shifts upward because of the plus 1. So it will be at y equals to 1. Okay, so we always put in the axis of curve first so that everything later on can lay in place. Okay, the shape of the curve doesn't change since we're looking at sine graph. Okay, so you have to ensure that it is actually symmetrical, right? About this, not say symmetrical lah. Okay, it has some form of symmetry, okay, around the axis of curve, right? So then after that you can put in your maximum 4 and minimum at negative 2. Okay, then after that the period, it is 180 degrees, so this is one complete cycle. So this is where 180 degrees should lie. Okay, so it is not at the intersection of the x-axis anymore. Right, then after that, the other parts will fall in place. So all these numbers, okay, that we originally know, we can just subsequently divide by 2 as well to actually know where are these numbers going to lie. Okay, so this is 90 degrees, 45, and this will be 135. You understand? Okay. Any questions? Right, so this is really the very basic and fundamental. Okay, so another thing that we need to be aware of, right? If I were to have 2 cycles of graph, okay, if I were to have one point over here, okay, and maybe let me just give it to be 30 degrees, and sine will be actually 1/2, right? 30 degrees and a half. Okay. If I want to know what is this point over here, it shares the same y value. Okay. What would the degrees over here be then? That means what is this x going to be?
360 plus.
Yeah, it will be one full cycle, 360 degrees later. So that will be 390 degrees. So you need to be aware of how there's that kind of phasing over there. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Should I go into cosine graph? It will look like that, right? So what would the period be? What's the period going to be? 360 also. Okay, then after that, you will be able to demarcate the rest of the values. So similar to sine graphs, okay, the maximum minimum is the same, 1 and -1. Okay, then after that, the way that we understand a general equation of y equals to a sine x, a sine bx plus c. It will be the same as cosine. Will be the same as well, where the a represents amplitude, b is the period, and then c will actually be the axis of curve. Okay. By the way, one more thing. What if a is negative? What happens if the a is negative?
It will flip the.
Okay. Then it will actually flip in the x-axis, alright, or it will flip in the axis of curve lah. Okay. So mirror image. Okay. Okay, so what if, let me run through one example. We have an example of y equals to negative cosine 2x plus 1. Okay, what will your amplitude be if it's a negative cosine 2x plus 1? Will it be 1 or negative 1? Negative 1. How many of you would say that the amplitude in this case will be negative 1? Amplitude for negative cosine 2x plus 1 for this equation. Okay, it should be 1. Amplitude is the length, the distance itself. So amplitude will always be positive numbers. Okay. Likewise, the maximum and minimum in this case remains the same at 1 and negative 1. Okay, so because it is a plus 1, so the maximum originally for cosine graph is 1. Just that the shape now is different, but the discussion, it will still have a maximum or minimum. Okay, so 1, then after that plus 1, so that will be at 2. Okay, then minimum will be a negative 1 plus 1, so that will be 0. Alright, then the period in this case 360 divided by 2, 180 degrees. And the axis of curve will be at y equals to 1. Okay. Then now we draw in the graph. Okay, axis of curve first, y equals to 1. Okay. Then after that, we need to be aware that the shape is no longer going to be the same as how we draw a y equals to cosine x. This one is y equals to cosine x. Okay, because there is an inversion, right? So that means that since the minimum is at 0, it will have to go something like that. Okay, that is what we mean by flipping, right, in the axis of curve. Okay, so minimum is at 0, maximum is at 2. Period is now 180 degrees, so this is 180 degrees. So 90, 45, Any questions? Do you all want me to do another one more on negative? No need, right? Sine graph will also be the same. So if you want to, maybe let's look at the sine graph.
Start from middle and down.
Yes. So if I were to look at, say for example, y equals to negative 2 sine 2x plus 1, okay? So for example, if I have a negative 2 sine 2x plus 1, okay? The amplitude, what would the amplitude be? For negative 2 sine 2x plus 1, 2. Okay, maximum. How do I find the maximum?
Negative 1.
Negative 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1, right? Okay, so we take the absolute value of the amplitude, okay? 2 plus 1, so that will be 3. Okay, it cannot be the maximum, it's a lower value than the minimum, it doesn't make sense, okay? So minimum, that will be negative 2 plus 1, so negative 1. Then the period will be 360 degrees divided by 2 as well. And then after the axis of curve will be y equals to 1. Okay, so start with the axis of curve, y equals to 1. Okay, then after now we need to draw in the shape of the graph first. So since it is a negative, okay, we know that our sine graph will actually originally look like that, right? So now there is a flip, there's an inversion about the axis of curve. So it should go down first before coming up and reaching here. Okay, I think that's good explanation.
Then will then minus 1 if your curve is before?
Yes, okay, if your curve is drastically, okay, this side shorter than the other side, okay, the amplitude looks definitely different, you will be penalized. Okay, furthermore, okay, as I mentioned, your paper now is no longer to be written on foolscap paper, so you do not have the foolscap lines to actually guide you in your heights already. Okay, so you might need to do some measurements to be very precise. Okay. Okay, so now we get the shape right already, we put in all the numbers. So 180 degrees, 90, and this will be at 45, this is at 134. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't mark in the maximum. Maximum is at 3. Okay. Shall we look at tangent graphs? So that means, right, okay, for sine graph and cosine graph, okay, really you need to mark out all these values that will be the best, okay, to mark out all the maximum, minimum, okay, then after that also the endpoints, right? Also look out for the intervals that you're asked to actually draw. Sometimes maybe you're not asked to draw from 0 to 180. Maybe you're asked to draw from 0 to 135, okay? Then after you just have to draw 3/4 of a cycle. Or maybe if it is a case where there are many cycles, okay, then please draw the sufficient number of cycles required. And also, they may not always be all positive angles, okay, they may also be negative angles as well. So it is just going backwards, okay? And then, and then also look out for radian, okay? If not all the time it is going to be degrees, okay, it will actually be radian as well. So do make sure that you know how to count in radians as well. Okay, tangent graphs, we know that the shape will look like this. You must have the asymptote given, that means the dotted lines. Okay, you must actually draw in the asymptote. And then also take note that for a tangent graph, right, one entire cycle will only reverse up to here. Okay, this is one complete cycle, the one that I put in between. Okay, so what is the period for tangent graphs? 180. This will be y equals to tangent itself. Okay, then after that, what are some important things? There's no maximum or minimum because the asymptote means that, okay, this graph itself is getting very close to the asymptote, okay, but it never meets it. Okay, so there is a disjoint discontinuity for a tangent graph. And then because it goes on to infinity, okay, both positive and negative infinity, that's why there's no maximum or minimum. So technically you don't need to actually care about maximum and minimum. So your concern for a tangent graph will actually be where the asymptote is going to be. Okay, so for y equals to tangent x graph, the asymptote, the very first one will be at 90 degrees. Okay, and then another important thing that you must label will be at 45 degrees. This is going to be at 1. Okay, this one is something that you must do it. Okay, the other one at 135 degrees, that one not necessary, but the first one you need to actually do it. Okay. Let's do an example. Maybe we have y equals to one positive or negative. Negative. Okay, negative 2 maybe. Negative 2 tangent. Should I have 2x also for easier calculation? Okay, and then after that, maybe let's, instead of looking at plus 1, maybe let's look at minus 1. Okay, achievement of downwards. Alright? And how would that affect us? So as mentioned for tangent graph, our concern will be where the asymptote is going to be at. There is no maximum or minimum. And then of course we need to know the period. Okay, and at a certain angle, the one that concerns the 45 degrees, what is the value going to be? Okay, so these are 3 important things that we need to take note, right? So maybe let's look at easy one, two of the easy one first. Okay, the period. So maybe let's move this up to the priority. Okay, so the period for a standard tangent graph will be 180 degrees. So since this will tell us the period, that means in this case the period is going to be at 90 degrees. Okay. Likewise, to find out the asymptote, you need to know that for standard one, it is first at 90 degrees. So we will look at 90 degrees and then divide by 2. So that will tell us that it is going to happen at 45 degrees. Okay. Then the other value that is important is the 45 degrees one. So likewise, divide by 2. Okay. And that will give us that y is equal to something. And in this case, this y value is dependent on this value here. Okay, but we look at the magnitude itself, okay, or rather the modulus of it, so therefore it is at 2. Okay. And then one more thing, axis of curve, right? Is there axis of curve? Okay. So axis of curve, because it's a shifter of downwards, so we will start at y equals to negative 1. Okay. So because in a tangent graph, there isn't that much of a symmetry that we're talking about. Okay, it is about the starting point that we're more concerned of. So this is actually starting at 0, Okay, so with an axis, so-called axis of curve at y equals to -1, that will mean that we will now start at -1. Okay, and furthermore, it is now negative tangent. Okay, so negative tangent curve, so it will flip in the axis of curve. So it will look something like that. Okay, and then after that, starting from the asymptote, right? Okay, it will have to be S-shaped downwards to the next asymptote, right? Okay, make use of the asymptote to guide you, right, in terms of the drawing, in case you get yourself messed up in terms of the shape. Yes.
What is y? Yeah, it's the line.
Why is y equals to 2? Because 45 degrees is at 1 because this is a 1 tangent x mark. Yeah.
The plus.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to take note of that. Yeah. Thank you. So 2 minus 1, right? Correct? Wait. Because it's a negative.
45 degrees.
Oh, wait. It is originally at negative 2. Correct, because of the shape. Then minus 1. So it will be negative 2 minus 1.
Huh?
Wait, sorry. Let me think first. This one go downwards. So it's negative 2. Then after that, yeah, negative 2 minus 1, right? Yeah. Okay. Reason is because if we think about purely a y equals to negative 2 tangent 2x graph first, okay, your graph will actually be like that, right? And then you'll be able to see that at this point here, which was supposed to be the 45 degrees over 2, so that will be what, 22.5. So at 22.5 degrees, based on this, it should actually be a negative 2, right? Can't be a 2, correct? Okay. Then after that, because there's a shift of downwards, so negative 2 minus 1, so that will give you negative 3, correct? So look at it part by part. That will make sense for you.
So that means y will be equal to a lah.
What y?
Like at 45 degree or 45 degree over 2, right?
Oh, this one?
Yeah, so y will be equals to
A, but you need to take into consideration of the C as well. Okay, so let me just summarize. So this will be at A, and then this is the C value. Okay, the plus or minus dependent on the C value itself. Okay. Yeah.
then the cut on the tangent the 90 degree is supposed to be at -1.
90 degree
Yeah.
supposed to be a negative 1.
No, as in like because now the period is 90, yeah.
90.
Yeah, so the cut.
So this intersection, will be at 90 degrees. Then this one will be at 45 degrees. Okay. Then after that, over here, this would be at 22.5 degrees and negative 3.
Shouldn't the 90 the
我也好。
Oh,
it should be below 1, but it should be it should cut negative 3 axis.
so let's look at the axis of curve is negative 1. Okay, let me redraw this.
Why? It should cut negative 1 instead of 0.
And this now was this is going to be 45 degrees. Right? Then after that, the next one, this one will be 135, right? So if you're asked to draw up to maybe 360 degrees, draw 2 cycles, then the other one will have to be okay. Alright? Alright, any questions? Okay, in fact, if you had read your textbook, has it ever addressed the plus minus one? I think plus minus one shipment up and down is not part of the things to be tested. Okay, but I think it's something that we have the skills to. Okay, so why not we just do it also? Okay, so that yes, for tangent, okay, plus minus, right, is actually not part of it. Okay, so but then we need to be aware, okay, about what it could actually turn out to be like. Okay, so usually for tangent graph, they will only test in terms of the change in the so-called amplitude portion and also the period portion. Okay, and in fact, they very rarely test on tangent graphs. Okay, school-wise, of course, we don't eliminate that option, alright? So it might still be tested. Okay, we don't want to end up not studying for it because there's no trend, okay, of it happening, and then maybe it will just appear. Yes.
So that means the axis of curve usually can change, right?
No, yes. Usually axis of curve doesn't change. Okay. So usually what it could be tested on.
So this for O-level.
Yes, I'm saying about for your A level, you got a graphic calculator anyway.
This side. So we need update.
Okay, so usually what you'll be asked to draw would be this, okay? Things like the A changing and the B changing, so there wouldn't be any axis of curve to consider. So that would be a 90 degrees here, right? And then 45 degrees here, 22.5 degrees here. This will be a negative 2, 135. And then 180 degrees. Anything else that I have?
So will it test the drawing of the one?
1 over tangent. Have I ever taught you how to draw 1 over tangent? What do you think? No, right? Okay. I mean, even myself, I also don't know how a 1 over tangent is like. Okay? Any questions? Right. So this worksheet that I've given you, okay, I realized after photocopying, okay, that the grid actually didn't show, right, in terms of the answer key that I've given you, because I wanted to have a good quality image to be printed out, so therefore I used a computer program to generate this image, okay, and then I also see that there are some misalignment of values, okay. I think my 3 part 2, 90 degrees and 180 degrees, it misaligned. You were supposed to overlap the pi over 2 and pi. Okay. I hope that you know, right, at least for yourself, that you are supposed to label the axis. Right. My answer key is meant to serve as a guide to tell you how it should look like. Okay, I apologize that the numbers seem very small. Okay, but I think that it still can be read. Maybe the ones at the back, maybe not. It will require hard scrutinizing. Okay. But I think that if a 28-year-old woman can actually read this properly, and I can see the numbers, okay, you all can also.
You did this yesterday.
Yeah, what?
You did this yesterday.
I mean, I finalized it yesterday. I have not done the solutions yet. Okay, so could you all start doing this worksheet now? Oh yeah, by the way, sorry, one more thing. Okay, there's only level 1 and level 2. Okay, level 3 has more of the problem sums. I'm still trying to finalize that one. okay, trying to organize all of that. I think that the level 3 for this part, I will require you to also expose yourself to it, so I will print that out to you once you actually organize all those questions up, okay? How about level 1, 2, 3, 4? 5 is, sorry, this is supposed to block everything. I didn't change it. Okay. Trigo 5 is supposed to be our formula. Okay?